Welcome to Cranky Live Sports Talk, where passion meets action.
Hey sports fans, I am Cranky, and this is the Cranky Live Sports Talk, the podcast where we dive deep into the hottest topics, the biggest games, and the most controversial moments in sports.
Whether it's football, basketball, track and field, cricket, or soccer, we've got you covered with expert analysis, insider interviews, and unfiltered opinions.
Join me as I chat with the biggest names in sports, get exclusive insights and stories you won't hear anywhere else.
Cranky Live Sports Talk is where you can hear the real talk, the hard-hitting questions, and the hottest takes.
So, if you're a true sports fanatic, you don't want to miss out? Subscribe now to the Cranky Live Sports Talk on YouTube and hit that bell icon to never miss an episode.
Cranky Live Sports Talk, where sports come alive. Subscribe today.
Let me know if you can hear me out there in YouTube land. I'm using headset. There's no remote connection. And my background may be a little bit messy, but let me know if you can hear me. Before I start, today should be a good show. I'm motivated today. I have enough things to talk about, and I only have an hour and 40 minutes to do it. So let me know if you can hear me. One love, bless up. Marshall Mullings, bless up. One love came early, one love. So you're as motivated as I am for today's discussion. Let me know if you can hear me, people. Just hit the yes button if you can hear me before I start, because I don't know if you can hear me. No comment if you can hear me or not, people. Come, people. Give me a person. Can you hear me? It's me pointing to my ears. Can you hear me? In a word, no? Okay. Word no for what, Elmise? But let me tell you this. You can hear me? Good. In a word, no? All right. We're not jump right to the Cephas discussion, people. We have to set this up. See? We have enough things to talk about. I'll do it quick. And I'm not spending a lot of time on each of the topics because I want to touch the Cephas thing quite a bit. But there's a lot to talk about. So let's jump into it. First, I want to say this. There's too much war in the world, too much bad things happening. Oh, Lord, Claudine, we're not even started yet. Give me a chance to start thing. But now I touch Cephas yet. Cephas like number 4, best of float management. Claudine, you've been deserting me, Claudine. You give me up. You find new man, Claudine. You find new man. Can't see if I'm a channel Claudine. See if other people channel Claudine that make comments, you know. You vacate me, you left me, you divorced me. I don't know what me do. You know, like a man come home from work and the house clear out, the bank account clear out, everything clear out, and you still don't know what I'm doing. So Claudine, you have to tell me what I do wrong. Couple of things I have to touch on, my personal things before I jump into, because it's main. I have about 5 topics to talk about for Reggae Boyz. One is my New York Knicks got eliminated. All I say, the coach should be fired. I'm gonna move on. I don't want tips. Don't make good decisions for me. Champions League, one of the worst Champions League ever. Awful. They had riots afterwards. They need to ban those things in Paris because they always have a lot of problems. People got killed. Hundreds of people got arrested. That's crazy. You're supposed to celebrate, not destroy. It doesn't make any sense to me. EPL, a lot of activity, people. Enough things happening. Man U look like they're gonna get better. They bought Cunha. They may lose Bruno to Saudi, but they get more money to invest if they lose Bruno. They're pursuing goal career. They're pursuing a lot of players. So expect Man U, a resurgent Man U to occur. Given the pursuit they have, and if they sell Sancho and Rashford, they get more money to reinvest. Liverpool won, not sitting on their laurels. They won the league, didn't do as well in Champions League, trying to buy Wirtz, buying the kid, Kirkes from Bournemouth. They're going out, improving certain positions. Great thing for Liverpool. Arsenal, we're taking too long. We need a striker. We need another, we need a left winger because Martinelli play like how Cephas player used to play. That needs to change. And then we see Mbomo, who I love, who scored 20 goals this season. I know he plays on the right where Saka plays. First of all, I don't think Saka is better than Mbomo, to be honest, or is effective. And second, Mbomo and Saka should be able to play together. One play right, one play left. Historically, left footers play left wing. Because we have this new inverted in terms of being able to shoot when you cut in, doesn't mean you can't play out there. So that needs to be looked at. I know Chelsea want him, Man U want him. No, I'm sorry. Newcastle want him, Arsenal want him, Man U want him. So we'll see what happens there. Bless up Duklan, Eagle Republic, bless up. Ricardo, bless up. Thanks for coming in, people. People, as you come in, you know what to do. Don't let me have to run my mouth of it. As you come in, you know what to do. Oh, all right, Claudine. I hear you, Claudine. But you still a dessert, me, Claudine. That not explain. See, Claudine, you want a woman in there, you not explain why you dump the man in there. You just silence him. Worst thing, we just silence a man, Claudine. You dump me, and not tell me why. See? Yeah, you can go back to work, but you not tell me why you dump me. River says, a massive protest is now taking place against Chung taking up the FID job. I can understand why, and I think sometimes you're asked a question in the public domain, you answer truthfully in your perspective, and it seems like you are biased. So Chung answered truthfully about the Prime Minister, about the number of bank accounts. I didn't agree with him because I did a program on that one. And this is about the Financial Investigative Directorship, Technical Director in the Investigative Division in Jamaica that investigates financial crimes and government corruption. Dennis Chum, who was a GenSec, gave up that role yesterday, of the Jamaica Football Federation, has been appointed or anointed for the role based on a survey they did in terms of getting resumes in, assessing the best qualified candidate. He qualified for the role. People are talking about he doesn't have investigative background. You don't need that. You're not doing good investigation. You got to be able to smart enough to assess results, evidence, outcome. So he qualifies based on his prominence in Jamaica. Now people are saying he may be conflicted. Let me repeat, people. People are saying he's conflicted, given his previous comment. If I bow my head and indicate and it's blurred up, because I'm in a very dark room. People are saying he's conflicted. I'm going to use that term, so therefore he shouldn't get the role. People, when they want to see conflict, don't know if you look for conflict. And those of you who are in the regular media, like why name Maverick, you know, a hypocrite, the worst hypocrite kind. Because you want to interview certain people, you now call out them conflict. Whether you're TVJ, whether you people like Maverick, you now call it conflict, but not call it Dennis's conflict. I'm a big fan of Dennis. I'm not going to touch the FID role and what he says. I think he should have been better. He should have been smarter when he responded to the question, because in public perception, if you have 24 or 28 bank accounts, that not look good. Now, if you have a lot of companies, it may not be deemed to be a lot, but we won't get into the details of that because we have to talk football, and I only have an hour and 45 minutes. But Dennis wasn't smart when he said that. But I'm a fan of Dennis. I'll be honest. Let me be honest. But I'm not going to criticize him here. But he wasn't smart when he responded to the question, and he coming back to bite him. But who them all get? It's not like we have 101 qualified people for those roles who is deemed to not be politically affiliated. And let me say this before I go further. Here's another point I want to make. I'll skip from Dennis' point. I hear somebody just called me this morning and said they hear leader saying, you know, the team for Jamaica needs to be balanced, right? I hear Maverick calling for a balanced team. Let me say this, people, which is interesting. You can't be balanced with mediocrity. I don't know what balance means. That means you're trying to make the team unbalanced. If your sole focus is to have locally based players, not just locally born, locally based players, have half the team, for example, and those players are not at the level they need to be, then the team is going to be unbalanced. You guys are confused with what balance means. Go show me a team, a great team in the world, where financially, economically, that country is challenged, say Argentina, say Brazil, right? Where most of the players, or half the players, or 1/4 of the players are locally based. It doesn't happen. You export your best players. It is so frustrating and so archaic and so stupid to think that way. It is stupid. You select the best players for your team, give it a coach, but he can make the team and can work for the team and can help the team win. So when I hear people like leader them talk, and they're leaders in the country, Jesus Christ, they're leaders. They're not leaders. They don't know what they're talking about. If those are our leaders locally, we're challenged. Now some of them are like me, same thing, but it's facts. and come debate me about it. Facts, I don't know what I'm talking about. Here's another thing too, people. If you want to beat Dennis, those in Jamaica, about political affiliation, then expand the breadth of how you source positions. I'm sure you have some Jamaicans who are overseas who have done really well. You know, start about cranking, and I talk about myself, right? Who probably can play that role, can function that capacity, and may not be politically affiliated. The narrowness of the perception of what is Jamaica and who can work in Jamaica is ridiculous. You've expanded your remit across the world when you export human capital. So go leverage that human capital. Stop being myopic in your view. Stop being parochial in terms of locality. Think about a broader, wider base. When you were having crime in Jamaica, you imported an English person who is Caucasian to help the police force. You've exported a lot of human capital. Go leverage that capital. Go, if you think Dennis is not independent because he's locally and he's JPL affiliated, go find somebody overseas who's Jamaican who isn't. Jesus Lord. And what you've done in Jamaica, you find ways to ensure only local people can assume certain position, like the JFF. You have a 10-year period where you have to live in Jamaica to be part of the JFF. That excludes almost all people who live overseas who haven't gone back to Jamaica to live. People, we don't know another. The problem with us is leadership. I'm telling you, when we talk about infrastructure, I was talking to somebody this morning and they were talking to me about another country and about what they need, technical ability, facilities, sponsorship. And I said, stop. That's not the thing you're missing is leadership, quality leadership. All those things are subsidiary to people in the seat who know what the heck they're doing. And if you can't figure that out, you're challenged. Sorry, you're challenged. Anyway, let me go back to some of these comments here. Conrad, bless up Conrad, Odin, Conroy, sorry. Conrad and Conroy, Tycoon, Duklan. Hey, Duklan, hey, so Duklan, like you know yourself, Duklan. You yet have what you know. Can me provide, me talk, me give in, you know. Me a one woman man. Shevan said, what Shevan said? There are people me go to the top them, you know, but I had to touch those other topics. See if I say improve nothing. Consistency needed and he needs to work on his technicality. Shevan, we'll get into that. So let me get into the topics I want to get into. I'm gonna touch Cephas, because I know Cephas is contradictory and something all over the place. So a couple of things. The most impressive thing to me about the Unity Cup was the diaspora support. The fact that somebody texted me who was there on Saturday, and said the Jamaican section, because you know they bifurcate the stadium into sections, right? Nigeria, Ghana, Trinidad, Jamaica. The Jamaican section was sold out, right? And it shows you the love and support that Jamaicans who are overseas, whether they're born Jamaicans or they're by descendants Jamaicans, heritage Jamaicans, the love they have for the country, and they should be given more love by local people in Jamaica, because they're not getting no love. Most of them local people in Jamaica, especially the football community, not getting no love. They went on and support them with their presence and their resources, and they should be lauded. And you can see the enthusiasm of the crowd and how they embrace the players and they embrace the environment and the situation and what transpired. And we should laud them for that. Right? They should be given their love for them coming out even better than locals in Jamaica support the national team. People, this was a friendly. It's not like some World Cup qualifier or Gold Cup qualifier, Gold Cup games or Nations League game. This is a friendly for the Unity Cup, and they turn up in droves and in numbers and show up. So they should be, you know what? They should be applauded, and we love it. I will also say this. I thought Unity Cup overall, I got some communication from the UK saying there were some challenges there. The advertisement wasn't great. I thought they did a good job in the last week to build up to the tournament. I thought the rivalry and the competition between the four teams manifested itself in the public domain and came across and was a good thing. And his friendly rivalry was good rivalry. On the field was much more involved. I see with Palmer, for example, and the player he had, I think he had Chiwuki had a confrontation with. So it was very spirited competition and both teams want to win. And I'll touch upon that because it has plus and minuses to that. But I think this competition, I said this before, should be held every 2 years versus every 4 or 5 years. Right? Every 4 or 5 years. No. Claudine, I think it worked out really well for different reasons, actually, Claudine. I don't agree with you, Claudine. I think the support that they received there, they probably could have done a better job of selling it to TV stations, but football is saturated, right? There's so much football that I initially was against Unity Cup because I thought it just distracted from the World Cup qualifiers and the Gold Cup. But I think it worked out really well. I was pleased with the outcome. And it also did a lot for some players, and I'll touch upon that, not for other players. I also think the Unity Cup is going to have implications, and some players who may be on the fence, some players who've thought of Jamaica but waiting for England, I think it will influence some of their decisions. That's just my view. Hey, before the game, you're showing your English bias before the game. You're showing your English bias for it. That's not true. They could actually go to some other country. There's much to do. I've been to London. There's much to do in London. I've lived in London. So I'm not agree with you before the game. Yes, R&R. I think they should talk to Max TV because the fee was clear. They advertised a little bit in it, and they should also have advertisement, whether it's in the corner you can see it or when they have interruptions. I think Max TV did a brilliant job. Actually, it was really, really clear and good. Money says we conceded 4 goals in 2 games. I have a new computer, people. I'm borrowing somebody's computer. It's not working well. Money Pro, we'll get to that. We get to the game itself because I agree and don't agree with some of those comments. Let me say this. So I think the tournament went well. I don't know if they made any money. I don't see how they made real money, given that I don't see unless they had some sponsorship, because it was only a 17,000 stadium, even though I think they had 15,000 attendance at one point, and it was probably almost sold out. They had celebrities there. They had a party. They probably had a lot of overhead and costs. So I'd be curious to know if JFF made any money from it. But they get to showcase some of their talents. King was there. Busy Atkins didn't get much time, but he was there. So they get a chance to showcase some players who they may want to showcase. So all around, it may not have been maximized, but there are benefits to be derived from it. I'll get to those questions about who did well, and then we can talk about contracts. So here's the next point. So this who impressed, who disappointed, and who still have a way who didn't give enough time to impress. So if I start off with the goalkeeper all the way to the team, Shaquan Davis, I think I can't say he impressed. At least I wasn't impressed. He didn't get a lot of chance. He made a couple good saves, but I thought his distribution was not good. I thought his presence in the box was good, but his distribution was not good, which is a key in today's football. And I also thought that some balls ricocheted off him that seemed to be easy saves. So look, he probably was nervous. It's his first time playing probably overseas or playing in that environment. It's the first time him being number 1 because he kept both games. I was disappointed the coach didn't try another keeper. And I think what happens in these games is that at some point, if we had lost the first game, like Trinidad did, more players would get an opportunity. The outcome may not have been great against Ghana because Ghana to me was the best team in the tournament. And so how can you say that? I mean, playing the best football team in the tournament, but they end up in the 3rd place game because they lost to Nigeria. But I thought Shaquan could have done more. If we go to right back, I think Lambakiza hurt his chances immensely. He was a question mark going in because we know he's not playing the highest level of football, and it exacerbated the situation. He had a tough time, misjudging balls, not being in the right place sometimes. Wasn't as supported as he should be by Russell, for example, who played the right midfield position, because people are praising Russell across the board. I watched the first game twice, and I watched the second game once. And Russell had a very good first game, but I think he was missing to me in the second game. But anyway, we'll get to that. But I think Lambaki's had a tough time. That's why you see him get. I don't know if he was injured, but he was the only player that got changed at halftime in any of the 2 games. And Ming came in. Ming was more physical. The game had changed somewhat. He was very, very physical. I don't think he improved his stance, nor did he hurt his stance, as far as I'm concerned. It was his first game. He played overseas. He tried. He played hard. So, but I think from a Ming standpoint, I'm not sure it influenced or hurt him in any way, shape, or form. If we go inside to Richard King, now, if you listen, people, if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. Only half of you have done so. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And you haven't shared the channel, please do so. So I'll keep going. If I go inside to King, I thought King had he had some good moments. He had some challenging moments. But I think overall, King must walk away feeling good about himself. The coach seemed to like King a lot. Now, will he replace Lowe? Don't know. Who I think would play in that position? I'll mention that as we end the discussion about the players. But I always like King. I think King have a lot of good qualities. I think one King has to work on, which is not apparent to the naked eye, but if you're really insightful and think about it, his attitude needs work. His temperament needs work. You watch him how he responds to certain situations, whether he likes it or don't like it. And sometimes coaches and teams are looking for people who can blend in, looking for people who are supportive, looking for people who can be part of good chemistry. His dismissive attitude sometimes, it was brought, I've seen it, but I wasn't very focused on it. Somebody who's very football oriented actually talked to me about it and said it was a distraction and it would turn off teams. And when you think about it, a lot of people have a view of local players and their temperament. He has to work on that. But I like the player. I think the player's ability. And I think the player, will he get a contract? I don't know. I don't know. I know there's a lot of comments here, and I have to get to them after we go through this, but I'm going through who impressed and who didn't. In the Holgate, I think people can probably. Holgate is like a lesser Cephas in some respects. He had a brilliant tournament, as far as I'm concerned. You know, it's not the same Holgate who get yellow cards galore. He got one, or look like going to red anytime. He was composed. He was a leader in the back line, and King played well too, in a lot of respects. And I think Holgate showed that, you know what, he has Premier League class, even though sometimes, you know, Holgate have a rush of blood like Lowe does. Holgate remind me of Lowe or vice versa. I think it's Holgate remind me of Lowe. Except I think Lowe is probably more aggressive in terms of, you know, if you look at Lowe's stats after any game, he fill up the stat sheet and people just focus on the negatives. And there's a lot of positive there. I think Holgate did really, really well, actually. And maybe he'll calm down the dodos for a little bit until probably the next game. And let me just say something before I go further. The sample size we're talking about, we can't just judge players based on just 2 games and throw them away or say that the greatest thing sliced bread based on 2 games. We need a bigger sample size. But the reason why some of these games were important, especially the Nigeria game, is the quality of the opponent. And a lot of times in Jamaica, the local individuals who look at football see a player, as I say in Jamaica, mashing up the league, doing really, really well. But the quality of the opponent is not there to make an informed assessment of the player. Here we had a quality Nigeria team. Some people said they didn't have some of their best players. Nigeria have players across the board. They're 220 million people. They have a lot of players. And they only brought them out 3 or 4 local players in this squad. But a lot of the players there were quality players, play at a high level. Right? So even some of the high level, like Ian Archie, was on the bench, and he's playing Premier League football all his life. So we have to look at the quality of Nigeria team. Trinidad, you can do assessment there. But the Nigeria game to me was more of a barometer of how we want to judge. And the comparative would be the US or Canada or Mexico as we think about these teams we play and how we assess the players. A lot of time we play the US, players disappear. So I think Holgate did well. Bell, I think Bell has a normal, steady game. I think he was good. And one thing we realize is that teams target what they deem to be your weakness, and they target the right side of our field a lot versus the left side. Now, if we go in the midfield, Hayden was Hayden. Won't spend a lot of time on it. His game is locked. He ain't going nowhere. He protected the back four really, really well. I think you need to make more forward passes. Even though you're deep 6, you got to make more forward passes. A lot of side-to-side passes by Hayden. He has the ability. He's been a Premier League player for years. Came through Arsenal, obviously. So that's why he has certain qualities. But he's a good player, and he showed it. And he's locked on number 6. But we need another 6. And I'm surprised we didn't try a cover and replace Hayden at some point. But I know we want to win, so we didn't do that. But at some point, we have to find somebody who can play the 6. Because if Hayden get injured, what do? We're going to struggle. Right? We don't want to play King there or Low there. That's what people are saying. I'm not into that. Palmer had a good tournament. Even the second game, when Palmer was involved in the first 20 minutes, he does like Ravel did. He went back to get the ball on the left side and progress the team forward. So Palmer had a good tournament, very good tournament, against both teams to me actually. Second game, touched the ball less, and the midfield. I'm going to talk about the midfield in general, but I thought he had a good tournament. And people said we gave up 4 goals. We'll touch upon that. And then Russell, I think Russell Green against Trinidad was exceptional. I don't think he was that good against Nigeria. I thought he was hiding from the ball. I thought sometimes he wasn't running as well as he looked tired. I don't know. Look, players have had a long season. I wasn't impressed with his game in the second game, but I was impressed with him against Trinidad. But the quality of the opponent also affects how I assess players. All right? If I go up front, Dixon didn't hurt himself. Missed a couple of really good chances. But, Dixie is a very effervescent player. Have good touches, quick, plays defense. Is somebody you want to be around and has a lot of potential. And I know people say, well, he's in Charlton under 21. We're talking about the player people and the attributes he demonstrated. He didn't hurt himself at all. In fact, he may enhance his stature somewhat, given the quality of opponent he played against. Second, and we're going to touch upon something, which is this, before I go into the other forwards. Our forward line didn't get enough service. And part of the reason is this, and I should touch upon this. When my keeper kicked the darn ball long all the time against both Trinidad and Nigeria, it's a turnover. The opponent, we don't have Antonio up front, we don't have Nicholson up front to head the ball on, and Cephas running on, or Dixon running on. So it's all turnovers. It's ridiculous we're doing that. I don't care if you play from the back and lose the ball a couple of times. You have to get into that mode because football is about possession in today's environment. You keep giving the ball away, it hurts you. And it hurt us a lot in those 2 games. Shakan was just kicking the damn ball up. And sometimes King did the same thing, actually. But then King was trying to find a man. I don't know what Shakan Davis was doing. Seriously. So both, I'll say this, Cephas, Burrell, all the forwards didn't get enough touches on the ball. I was curious to see what the touches were for Burrell, for example, who some people were lauding. I can't laud you unless you're involved in the play enough for me to get enough of a sample of the performance in the field to give you a grade. He scored a brilliant goal, but we'll touch upon that. I don't think Dixon hurt himself at all. Scored a goal also, very good goal, very good run. Had a great chance in the first game against Burrell. I think Dixon did well enough, given the level of competition, especially against Nigeria. Burrell looked like he has quality. Can't judge him. Scored a brilliant goal. Didn't get enough touches, people. And not his fault, because he was moving. But I think sometimes he could move better. What do I mean? When the ball is down the line to my right or left center half, or to my right back, and Dixon is deep, you got to run into that space or create that space, because we're using 2 defenders to mark him sometimes, to play the ball on the line so you get a chance to get it. He wasn't moving as well as I thought he should sometimes. But he looks like a good player, and he has a chance to be in the mix. Cephas. I'm going to have a whole segment on Cephas. I'm going to say he was involved in our 5 goals, and we'll get to Cephas. So I'm going to move along from that. In terms of the subs, the number 1 sub is Ravel. He didn't get enough time. When he came on the first game, we were struggling a little bit with Trinidad. He does what Ravel does. He's on the ball. He's trying to set it up. He's trying to calm things down. He doesn't feel pressure. He's trying to, and some people are criticizing him and say, slow the game down too much. You got to understand how the game is, how he plays the game, how the game is played. He wants the ball. He's around the ball. He doesn't feel pressure. He can help the team a lot when there's chaos. Did he help or hurt himself? He didn't get a chance to prove it. I'm not sure the coach is going to take him because people, and I'll touch upon that also later, there's a lot of players. And we're not even there yet. I'm going to touch upon that. It's going there yet. A lot of players, people. A lot. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. There's a lot of players that the coach now have to assess. And we'll see how well he does this. And we'll see how local influence his decision making. So when we touch upon Cephas, so Ravel, I thought Ravel did as well as he could given the circumstances. If I look at Busy Atkinson, he didn't hurt himself, but he didn't get enough time. And when we were in the game against Nigeria, we didn't have enough of the ball to feed him the ball, right? But Busy didn't hurt himself. What I liked about Busy was he was trying to play defense and help his right back, which is good. You need your forwards to play both ways. And I should touch upon Palmer about that. In the first game, Palmer played no defense. I know in the second game he tried to play some defense and got into that confrontation with Chawuki, but he doesn't play the defense. And he needs to do better because you don't play defense, you can't play in the team. You have to help your team out. Today's football, it's 11 against 11 because the goalkeeper has to be able to play the ball out. Everybody has to carry their own weight, offensively and defensively, as it hurt the team. So I did think Busy didn't hurt himself. Who else played? Brown came on, not enough time. Motherstill came on, not enough time. That was a problem in the game. The coach played the same starting 11 in both teams. We won the first game, so now he wants to win the tournament. The team was playing decent enough and hold their own enough and shows resilient, so he kept them on the field for a long time, and that hurt the subs who could come on for a period of time to show what they can do, right? Let me say this also, which is this. Jamaica showed a lot of resilience in that game. In the first game, they're up 2-0. You relaxed. Trinidad scored 2. They came back and scored and won the game. Second game against a very good Nigeria team with a lot of quality players who play at high level. They were down twice, and we scored twice. And we'll touch upon Cephas when I get to that. So we should be impressed by that, right? We should be impressed by the resilience of the team, the support they receive, because the support also helped them and motivate them, what Jamaica need to do in the World Cup qualifiers coming up. So let's touch upon Cephas now. Cephas impact. First of all, people, and you guys hear me. At one point, I was saying, I forgot after which game I was saying Cephas and any 10, right? And then he played a couple of games, and I was like, I don't know. The decision making is killing me. And I heard other people are making other comments about Cephas. Some people say, "In fast and foolish." You know what we're gonna do before I go into Cephas? I'm gonna take some of your comments first, and then I'm gonna jump into Cephas in detail. And give me your Cephas comments. I know I can't go through all these comments. So let me just go with some of them. Our question was, how was the marketing advertising from JFF? I don't think JFF was the one to respond for the tournament. I don't think it was them. I think other people hold that responsibility. Initially, I don't think it was good, and I got comments on that from overseas, but it got better. There are people like White Yardy advertising the tournament, so I think it got better as time progressed. And you hear people like, all the FT people because they went to the game. Right? Robbie and all of them because they went to the game. I know my friend Apollo, his whole family and him, not his whole family, but 5 of his family and him went to the game. His wife went, he went. So a lot of people of Jamaican descent went to the game who we engage with in some of these forums. Let me just see what else. Eagle Republic says, Cranky, I know Coach McLaren said that he wants a midfielder who wants for the ball. He tried Maggie, he failed me. No, he believed that Case Palmer is too hard to get to keep the ball. I'm not sure I understand that last part, Eagle Republic. Casey had a good tournament. But do you play Casey there or Ravel there? That's the question to me. I don't think the coach is going to take Ravel with him. I'm going to get into that. But would you prefer Casey than Ravel? He likes Casey. It's very obvious. He played the first game. Most of the first game, played the 70 minutes in the second game. He likes Casey. And I think he was probably pressured to put Ravel in. Coaches don't like that. So Ravel is not in the... It was good that he got pressure with Ravel in. And I'm not going to say it's about YouTubers, people. I'm not saying that. He got pressures from different quarters. And I know some quarters he got pressure from. So we'll see what happens. We're going to touch upon diaspora players, people. So I'm going to touch upon the Greenwood situation. I have to be careful what I say in those areas. Claudine and I don't always align. It's remember we should argue about Antonio. Claudine and I don't always align, people. That's all I say about that. So before the game says, Cranky, live, I don't have English bias. Rather, I have an English understanding. My perspective is shaped by my familiarity with English football culture, but I strive to remain objective. Before the game, look in the mirror. You're my friend, but look in the mirror. Trust me. Clive McLean says, it was always from a promo on our better local players and diaspora players who have been forgotten. None of it was shameful and over the top. It was done with class. Okay. Well, I think the King thing was, it may have been over the top a little bit, the King thing with the coach, right? It could be over the top a little bit. But look, I want the player to get the best opportunity for him and his family and hope somebody saw him and liked him. I like King. I think King is a better player than we're seeing. I actually do think he's a better player than we're seeing. His temperament has to improve, though, right? Go watch King on the field and his body language. He has to improve because people look at that, especially when you don't have exceptional ability. If you're exceptional, you can get away with stuff in any discipline, any form of life. You hear me say that all the time. But when you're not exceptional, when you're good or average, it's a different story. People have less tolerance for you. So Mr. Man said, in terms of Dexter, we need to help him with pressure of depending him start. He's young and he's not saving a club week in, week out. Yeah, but we don't have time for that now, people. We have Lati, you can play right back. If not a right back going to come in the next one of the next two windows, we're better playing than Dexter. So Lati at right back, this player coming at right back. Love Limbakiza, great kid, Christian kid, great attitude. He may not fit in. Right? So YouTube Club saying, in terms, wait, 1 second. I missed this one. YouTube Club saying, in a new competition in general is not offset expected to be financially profitable. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the objective was. If it's a camaraderie, it's to bring Africa and the Caribbean together. Not sure in totality. Whatever it was, what was the rationale or objective, I am supportive. It's great for Jamaicans who are overseas, who don't get a chance to see players live playing as a Jamaica national team. We should do more of this. And in the US, we struggle because they take us to West Coast and Midwest when we are in the South, whether it's Atlanta, Florida, even North Carolina, New York, East Coast, Maryland, you get much more support. That doesn't happen. Even though some of the Jamaicans actually, when we play friendlies, don't come. When we play Guatemala in New Jersey, I went to the game, very few Jamaicans. Maybe the advertisement needs to be better and the vibes need to be better. I said we could use King at, oh, come on, RR. Let him start someplace first and work his way up. Yes, I agree with that. In fact, I think most of the diaspora players do. Not going to say all, but most of them do. What else is here? Dr. Dan says, at work, Dr. Dan, mind you and the people, Dr. Dan, mind you watch YouTube while you're working now. I not concentrate. Dr. Dan, same surprise to see me. Yeah, Dr. Dan, I'm going to be busy today. And where I am, I need to do these things early so I can go run around because I'm out of town actually. So I decided to come on early. Eagle says, the Ambelli needs to move to Saudi Arabia and stay there. Jesus, Eagle. What do you mean stay there? You mean for the money? What up? T-Got, bless up, how are you doing? Let me see what the comments here before I jump into the topic I'm going to talk about, which is Cephas. Bless Owen. Clive says, granted they can work the permit issues of the past, so there's no reason why minimum a championship team shouldn't pick up King. No, I would agree with that. And look, McLaren sold King. He's been talking to people to sell King. So, right? People are advocating for King. The question is, did King do enough in the tournament to generate interest so some club can take a chance on him? I think he'll get some trial. The question will be how he does in the trial. He'll get trial. My rebel was there. You have a cranky, you have a nerve disrespecting Limp Bizkit. The young dude was all by himself defending and covering for Dixon. No. He was poor, Claudine, in a lot of instances. You remember that ball that came over the top against Trinidad? He was nowhere in sight. I'm sorry. I agree that Russell didn't help him enough. It's not just Dixon. Dixon defended, but you needed 3 defenders over there. But no, Lamakisa made a lot of mistakes. Sometimes King was part of the reason, but there was one play that came out clear to me. There was a ball where Trinidad played behind the defense. Lambakisa was high. King came to cover. Russell standing there. The player run around, pick the ball up. It looked bad for King and Lambakisa. Defense is a team game. And sometimes we just look at the optics in front of us and not the totality of it. So I wasn't overly pleased with Russell defensively or Palmer defensively. And it affected Lambakisa and also King. But Lambakisa didn't have a great tournament. That's why the coach changed him, Claudine. You think the coach changed him, Claudine? So you guys don't make excuse. I don't make excuse for any player. I don't care where they're living or where they're from. If you don't play well, I'm a call like I see it. Am I always correct? No. But the coach changed him at halftime, which tells you everything. What else is here before I jump into the Cephas discussion? Orville Clark said, I can't see everything in the Orville said, I asked you a question as to what is Catherine's real name. I didn't hang around for it. Oh, you know what? It's Orville. It was Orville, actually. You know what? I'm going to look for it right now because I had somebody send it to me. Orville. Let me try to find it. Sorry, people. This is question about a player who used to play for Clarendon College, who I used to play with actually. But so we don't really talk about people real name, So so you have to forgive us. I don't remember if I called the person Orville. All right, text them to give me the name. This is horrible. I have it though. The person gave it to me, and I think I said it. But when you get a little bit more seasoned. Oh, sorry, it's not Orville. His name was Everton Blake Orville. I just found it. Everton Blake was his name. He used to play with Dynamo and Lenny Hyde at Clarendon College. He used to play center half. His name was Everton Blake, actually. I used to play on the same Buffalo team with him. Eagle Pop. Sorry, Orville. Forget about that. Eagle. Hope you got that, Orville. Eagle Public says, Cranky, my concern is Andre Blake. Andre Blake has only played one of the last 6 games for Philadelphia Union. I have no words about Andre Blake, Eagle Public, seriously. Andre Blake is like a machine. Let's hope he's not injured, though. And Jamal Wade is a better goalkeeper. Jamal Wade is not Andre Blake, but he ain't that far away. Give him some credit. And he's better with his feet. So I'm not worried about the goalkeeping situation. We can also, I don't know why Connor Boyce Clark wasn't brought in as part of the contingent. I find that interesting. If you want another goalkeeper who, even though he make a lot of errors, go ask Chelsea goalkeeper to change his nationality. He's Jamaican heritage. Here's rematch. Stop mixing up the games on Burrell to push your Cephas narrative. Burrell had enough touches in the first game, not allowed. Rematch, what does Burrell have to do with Cephas? What kind of nonsense is that? Please stay on topic. I talk about individual players. Burrell didn't get enough touch in the first game. Go look at the game again. I'm not trying to push no Cephas narrative. First of all, I think you guys are biased. Biased about your perception of certain players. Really biased. So let's talk about Cephas. In any situation, if a player is involved in our 5 goals, in fact, 4 of those goals are just that player. We scored 5 goals in the tournament. 5 goals. The players involved in all 5 goals. Can't be denied. One of them, I wouldn't give him a lot of credit for. He made a good pass to Palmer. In fact, he should get credit. Because give the pass to Palmer, who shot the keeper save, Boris scored a brilliant goal. The 2 penalties are Cephas' sole doing. Nobody else doing it. Cephas doing. He beat a man on the first one, got fouled. He took the ball from the second one. He put the effort and energy in to win the penalty. That's all Cephas. The second game against a very good Nigeria team, he put the balls on a platter for the 2 forwards, for both Dixon and Russell. All they had to do was put their foot on the ball and keep it down. We didn't create a ton of chances in those games. In the first game, we had some more chances. Dixon had a good chance. I think Russell had one, even though it's a half chance. We scored 5 goals and the players involved in about 5 goals. And 4 of those goals were him alone. 2 penalties. What are we talking about? People, please open your mind up. Please stop being biased. Please try to be objective. I'm getting frustrated with this. We know Cephas' deficiencies. But if you stay in your lane and just focus on the negative and look at the positive, then you're not a football analyst. I'm going to call you out. By the way, before I go further, I want to call this out. I forgot this at the outset of the program. I'm going to get beaten for this. I'm going off topic. We have too much people, now I like me saying this, but not really clear. We have too much fighting amongst us as, I'm going to say, black people. Stephen A. Simmet and everybody. Ryan Clark and RG3, where race came in the mix. Why are we in the public domain fighting? And by the way, on a lesser first, YouTubers who cover Reggae Boyz football are in war. People, want to stop it. I don't see a lot of Caucasians out there fighting each other in the public domain or in media. I don't see Fox fighting CNN. They both are pursuing different agendas. They're trying to get people to watch their channel. They're trying to influence decisions, but they ain't going there calling each other out and say, this is horrible, this is terrible. Yes, once in a while they may do it into a panelist discussion, but it's not their primary focus. Why are YouTubers out there cussing each other and calling each other out? People to stop the nonsense, stop it. Love each other, work with each other, help each other. Yes, it's competitive. Yes, we all want views. Yes, we all want to do well, want a channel to grow exponentially. But you can do it with quality content. You can go viral with quality content. I sit every day thinking about, you know what? I should stop the Reggae Boyz football because the channel now move. But I love this sport. I love the country. I love the football. But at some point, I may stop doing it. I gave myself to June 15th. I don't get to a certain place. I'm going to stop doing it. I won't say stop doing it. I'm going to do it infrequently. I have bigger fish to fry, in my view. I have other things I want to do. And I'm working on some stuff. But this whole fighting like we're kids, are fighting like it doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm gonna go back to the program by saying, "Oh, no, if we do better, they're called no, if we do better." You guys should be coordinated. You know, the traditional media fight against you, and then you fight against yourself. Traditional media, people like Oral Tracy, who's a YouTuber, play both sides of the fence. And can't do traditional YouTubers who go to press conference, they're full of the space, and they want to deal with them. And then he might talk about putting China guys who want to get views and he want to make money. Oh, traditional media is fighting new people. Them there for go away, in my view. Go away. Eat that thing you're going with. YouTubers should be coordinating and thinking about how they can influence the space they're in, which a lot of them are doing. Some of them are doing a good job, and they're getting views. Don't stop. Don't have to fight to get views, star. And the war thing for done. We have too much fighting in Jamaica. People kill each other. The war thing for done, people. But let me keep going and go back to the Cephas thing. I had to go on that because it was something that was bothering me. And I said I was going to talk about it, and I forgot to talk about it. So Cephas, let me say some people. This concept or this idea, well, you know what? He's only fast. And if he didn't have his speed, he wouldn't do. What are you talking about? Bolt was only quick. Bolt can run 800 meters, right? It's his speed that gets him where he is, even though he's racing, right? I don't understand the concept. I have an attribute. It's an exemplary attribute. Do I have to work on my decision making? Yes. The man just had an exemplary tournament, didn't touch the ball a ton, and part of my problem is the midfield got to get better. Part of the problem we have as Caribbean people, whether it's in England, America, or Jamaica, we don't produce good midfielders. I was going to the list, when we say good midfielders, except midfielders. I was going to the list of possible people who could play for Jamaica. I couldn't find too much midfielders who I truly value and think would make a big difference, apart from a Ramsey from Villa or a Dwight McNeil from Everton, who I think could play in that space and be differentiators. All of them was, they're good, they're okay, they're championship players, they're not exceptional, right? They're not exceptional. And that's a problem for me. So England is not producing them either who have Caribbean descent. Not. I don't see Trinidad have any. I don't see Jamaica have any. I don't see Grenada have exceptional midfielders. They're not. They don't. And that's a problem. The question is, why is that? Is it that coaches force us to go run fast because we can run fast and be physical? Or is it that, are people going to say our intellect is not good enough? Because the midfield is where most of the intellect resides. You need that intellect in midfield in them. There's so much happening in there. It's a crowded space. And it's where decision makers manifest themselves. So that needs to change, right? And the JFF needs to do a better job of how they help kids matriculate through the process to improve. I'll give you a good midfielder, for example, who's getting better. Before the game, son, who played for Atlanta. Go watch him play football. So before the game, you should get credit for that. But they're rare. They're rare. I wouldn't say he's an exceptional midfielder, but he's getting better and he's young and he's quality. And if you hear the Atlanta program, I saw a program the other day, they think he's the best player in the team, even though sometimes coaches coming in want to give him a hard time. But at the end of the day, people, it's important that we improve that part of the field because we're not producing any. Jamaica has never produced an exceptional midfielder. People talk about skill code too far back. We don't produce exceptional midfielders. That's not a good thing. People talk about Whitmore. He didn't play at the highest level. We have a lot of forwards, a Fuller, a Shelton. We could name quite a bit of them who play, Bailey, who played at a decent level. We need to produce midfielders who can control games and who can marshal games and who are playing at the high level. We don't have that in England. We don't have that any place. That needs to change. But as I said, I see two who we should try to get in, and we'll see what happens. Let's go back to Cephas, because I digress. Cephas has an attribute which you can teach. Cephas has an attribute which can help him become somebody who's a valued footballer. Cephas is what, 25? I think 26 in December. Is it too late for him to improve his decision making? Let me say this, people. Go watch the last game against Nigeria. When Cephas dribbles, he's like Remy and Martinelli, right? They're looking for money. They lost money on the floor, looking for the money, can't find it. In the last game, and I love how Gray plays football, because Gray's head is on a swivel when he's dribbling forward. He's looking inside, he's looking to cross, he's looking to beat his defender. It's hard to make those decisions all simultaneously, make the right ones and make the right decision. Cephas looked up quickly, especially in the first goal. I won't say the second goal. He looked up quickly and he used his left foot. He's a right footer. His left foot and the balls were on the dime. That's quality, people. The crosses were on the dime. The offensive player, but Russell Dixon didn't have to break strides and he's crossing it from far. That's quality. Does Cephas look like a madman sometime who don't play with no head? And yes, but he has certain attributes which you can't teach. And he can only get better to me. He can only get better. He can only get better. Right now, to me, it's Cephas and 10. No, let me just say this. When I look at the Jamaica team, here's how I view the team. Okay? There are some players whose games are set, and there are some players who, no, not really. The goalkeeper, Blake, indisputable, number one, automatic starter. Pinnock, given his pedigree, automatic starter. That's two. Hayden, we don't have another 6. His quality, is he slower now than he used to be? At Arsenal, at Newcastle, where he currently is? Yes. But he's fixed. That's 3. Right? Instead of the team. Greenwood, if he comes in, or when he comes in, not if he comes in, when he comes in, automatic starter. 4. I know number 5 is, in my view right now, Cephas. 5 automatic starters. Every other position open for debate. And Claudine, Anthony's an automatic starter. He's injured, so we don't know if he's going to recover. And the coach loves him, so it may work out that way, but right now, to me, he's not. 5 automatic starters, and I include Cephas in that number. So there's 6 more players needed. Now, you can dispute me all you want, and it's your prerogative, it's your perspective. I see 5 automatic starters. So I'll take some comments on that after, then I go back to lauding Cephas or beating Cephas. Is Sterling a better right back? Sterling is injured. I don't know, but I'm going to touch upon some players who may come in, and then we can talk about how the players fit in. Say working on Burrow touches in the first game because Cranky claimed that he didn't get enough. He didn't get enough touches. To me, he didn't. The man of the match in the game was Cephas. People, in both games, no, the man of the match in the second game to me was Chiwoki from Nigeria, right? For the game. But Jamaica, Cephas in both games. I don't know how we debate that. Why do we watch English Premier League and a player score goals? He get extra grade for that. Get an extra mark for that. And if you set up 5 goals in 2 games, you're not man of the tournament for your team. Sorry, I don't know what we're talking about. If Burrell had tons of touches, link up play, run the channels, beat defenders, score goals, yes. The man is involved in 5 goals. I'm saying that I don't know what we're talking about. Maybe you guys' assessment different from me. Bless up, Hush Puppy. Cranky Emir said, Oral, I say Emir said Greenwood may come to this World Cup qualifier. What do I repeat to that? Damn. I don't know what this. You know what? I know more. Let me say, people. Let me just be honest. I don't want to be dishonest. I don't know if he's going to come to the World Cup qualifier. That's all I'll say. I don't know if he's going to come. It's, if I were to put on a gauge of unlikely, possible, probable, I'd probably say it's a little bit unlikely, actually. Unless somebody changed their mind. But let's just say he's going to play for Jamaica in the next, at least in the next window. Let me put it that way. He's going to play. The September window, to me, is almost guaranteed. This window is tougher. Right? But Greenwood is, I'm smiling. Let's put it that way. I'm smiling. I said I was going to come to Jamaica to watch a game when Greenwood coming. I'm still going to think about going to Jamaica. I should say think. I'm going to go to the game. But I am not guaranteed. I don't think Greenwood's going to be there for this game. It's possible. It's not probable. Right? They're levels. It's possible. It could happen. But remember, the allegiance change got to materialize, right? So that was put in wait time, but he had to get his citizenship and passport. Progress is made enough for things to happen. Let's let me just say that. If Oral say he hears it, then I'm sure he has good sources. Rob Simmons says, if Dixon wasn't tracking back, Lambo would be a skilless man right now. He was getting pressure, sad because he seems to be a great defender when he just came. He's not playing enough football at a high enough level, Rob Smith, and that happened to every player. That's why the local players in Jamaica need to play at a high level, because you get showed up if you're playing against defenders in locally who are not good, and you keep skinning them, you keep scoring goals, and people think you're great. Then you go play against quality defenders, they show you up. So you need to always go play against higher competition to show exactly where you are. No, Dixon plays defense. Dixon had a good tournament. A good enough tournament, anyway. Boyce Clark better than all them goalkeepers. No, he's not better than Blake, but I think he's as good as the other ones. And Boyce Clark is brilliant with his feet, by the way. Boyce Clark is brilliant with his feet. Not just good, brilliant with his feet. But is he better than Blake? Nah. In overall, how I assess keepers, no. Jamal Wade is also a good goalkeeper, both in the goal and with his feet. But Boyce Clark, watch him when he plays with his feet, he's brilliant with his feet. What else here before I get into players? So let me finish off on the Cephas thing. People embrace Cephas. That's what I'll say. Embrace. Let me just say this. Before the game, used to give me a hard time about Cephas. He loves Cephas, by the way. He thinks Cephas, I wouldn't say he thinks Cephas should be an automatic starter, but he believes Cephas adds a lot of value. So here he needs to go back and forth. I'm a Cephas bandwagon, and you know how I am, typical Jamaican. I jump on and I jump off. I jump on and I jump off. I jump on King bandwagon. I jump on Dixon bandwagon. I jump on Cephas bandwagon. But Cephas frustrates me so much sometimes. You have to jump off. But when I jump off and I'm hold on, and really still, and they pull me. I'm back on the Cephas bandwagon big time. I mean, you can't tell me anything because I'm watching the football to know a person who has certain skill set which cannot be taught. I watched Cephas play against USA when he just scored against Turner. The man run from about 10 yards behind the defender and run past the defender. People, you can't teach that. I love my forwards who have blinding speed, who can create havoc. What do I think Cephas needs to work on? Two things. Mainly his decision making, but also how he sets up defenders. If he sets up defenders the right way, he'll be unplayable. He doesn't freeze the defender and then go. Most times he just say, you know what, let's go for a race. Because I'm going to win the race anyway. He doesn't have a step over, right? He doesn't have a look off. Certain things as a forward you need to have. He doesn't take the ball and say, okay, I'm going to jockey you. I'm going to pivot. That doesn't happen. That's coaching. That's him go practicing. That's repetition. That's scenario analysis, a scenario situation constructed to allow it to happen. But the kid has speed which can be taught, and he can shoot the ball with either foot, as his two crosses showed. I'm going to give Cephas him credit. Give him credit. Nah, I mean, some people wouldn't like Cephas, Mr. Man. He makes a lot of errors for Chelsea, so people won't like him. Upbeat said, VMAX is an anti-local born player. You need to be fair and call us space. No, I'm not going to say he's anti. I think he tried to be as transparent as possible. But sometimes he's just playing wrong. He's just playing wrong. He is. Signa says, how about this stat? Dixon has scored in every final since he went to Clarendon College, and his record continued at international level. No, Dixon's a good player. Still young. Here's a problem for Dixon. You know what? We're going to get into that when I talk further. We're going to touch upon the Dixon situation. Dixon's in a dilemma when it comes to the national team, and we'll talk about that. So let me finish off on Cephas. Jamaican public, I understand your frustration with Cephas. And part of the frustration people see is they think the player has some qualities which can help him get to a certain place, but he negates those qualities with decision making. He doesn't shoot on the right time, he doesn't pass at the right time, and sometimes he doesn't play defense the right way. But like everything else in life, there are certain people with certain attributes, which are so great, that strength they have is so significant. I'll give you an example. Mason Greenwood doesn't play defense well. That's why he get called up at De Zerbi. But his goal scoring prowess, his presence on the ball, the fear he drives in defenders, he get allowances. That's how life is. When people have exceptional skill, we allow some of their weaknesses and developmental needs because we know what they can provide on the other end of the field. And so we gotta give Cephas more love. But I also think, here's my view on this. YouTubers were trying to take credit for raveling the team. I'm not in that camp. But I think YouTubers and others should take credit for some of Cephas' decision in the Nigeria game. I think Cephas heard the criticism, and I think Cephas realized, you know what, I need to change. And he had good output and good outcome because of it. So, yeah. BM says, Cranky, please ignore some people. No matter what Cephas does, he will never get the credit he deserves because he's from Jamaica. Yeah, but it goes both ways, BM, right? We overly criticize Oldgate. We overly criticize Palmer because they're diaspora, and these people locally. And vice versa, sometimes we overly criticize local players because we think they're not good enough. I am of the view that I call it like I see it. I don't care where you're from. I'm all about output and outcome and performance. I don't give a damn where you live or where you're born or where you're from. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. So long as you make me feel good by winning, make me feel good by scoring, make me feel good by defending, that's all I don't care about. I don't care if the team is 100% diaspora or 100% local. I don't care. I want the best 11 that the coach believes should be on the field and not influenced by politics or the need to sell players or to put in a overseas based player or a diaspora player because you know what? He has more pedigree. No, play the best players for your team. And I think the coach is moving in that direction more and more. So we'll see. Let me see what else is here. Let me finish up the Cephas thing by saying this. Cephas has a lot of good qualities. He also has a lot of areas that he needs to work on. But I am positive holistically about the player and direction of travel and what he can achieve. I'm sure Cephas may have been, I think Cephas made more impression than any player was looking for a move in those games. So, for example, Bell is out of contract, right? Bell doesn't have a team. He captained the team. Last game, didn't have a team. I think Cephas' performance, because people focus on end product and they focus on the total view. But the hardest thing to do in football is score goals. Can you create goals and can you score goals? Cephas didn't score, but he might as well have scored the way how effective he was. Right? So it's important. Every player has flaws, including your favorite Graham Leon Bailey. I've never heard somebody say Bailey's one of my favorite players. I've never heard that. That's interesting. Sanjay says, I agree, playing into negativity so childish. Yeah, I think, look, people, we hear so many people get excited about Burkina Faso and what's been done in that country, even though I think the West is going to squeeze him at some point. But it's about trying to bring people together, right? The most controversial figure you see in the world with the black community, like Farrakhan, like leader of Burkina Faso, like Maleba, what's his name, from South Africa, they're espousing one thing. People who are of this persuasion need to come together and put aside their differences. Let's narrow it down and be a little bit more narrow about the YouTube space and Jamaican YouTubers. I want to talk about the others like Stephen A. Smith. I watch a number of the channels, not all the channels, but I watch a number of the channels. People have quality in their content. Almost all YouTubers have quality. There may be some differentiation in YouTubers. And I've engaged some YouTubers. I'm going to give you some example. I made a mistake with Minzy and Manningsman when they were on my channel when I was doing the year-end awards. And I didn't like how they were engaging, in my view, and I cut them off, right? Childish of me. I apologize to them. One of them haven't forgiven me, by the way. I know he has forgiven me, but I understand why. I may not have forgiven me either. But what I did was wrong, and I apologize to them because I realized it was wrong. But I was pissed off, to be honest, and I have a very short fuse when I thought they were going the wrong direction where I want to go. But it was wrong of me, and I apologize to them. And hopefully at some point, the other one will forgive me, and we move on. But even for that same person, and Manningsman, and WeMax, and IMAX, same person, and Gunners, I asked them, can I use your content for my content when I'm doing things? All of them gave it to me in writing because I have to have it in writing and said I can use their content. All of them. Gunners, because one time Gunners called me out, he was wrong. He apologized. I call out 433 publicly because I don't call YouTubers. 433 and I get along brilliantly. So Minzy, Manningsman, Gunners, IMAX, all told me I can use their content. They could say, Cranky, no, because we're competitors. They didn't. I appreciated it. They can use my content any single time. Well, don't use the one that I did like TVJ and get myself in trouble. Don't use that one. But they can use all my content. I have no problem with it. We're competitors, but we also should be, we may have to be friends, but civil and professional with each other. And we all are in the same space. We should support each other. I am that advocate. And whatever I can do to facilitate that, I'm going to do it. And when I asked them, and they didn't even contemplate saying no. I'm telling you, people. Of course you can use it. I say, send me something in writing. Boom, I got a message right away. I call IMAX like, what are you talking about? Of course you can use it. Boom, send me message. I said, I did in writing. In no time, I got it. Minzy, same thing. Manningsman, same thing. So I can't be here beating YouTubers, even though sometimes we get vexed when 43 make me vex and it's a certain thing we shouldn't say. And first of all, I'm older than all of them, frankly. And I feel it's not my job, but I feel responsible to give them some counsel sometime. Because, to me, the more and I take counsel from them, and I take counsel from you. Right? I don't want to go spend too much into this, but the point I'm trying to make is that we are all one. We all have the same objective. Let's help each other, support each other. No, done with the fighting, mind you. Done with the fighting. Done with the fighting. Done with the fighting. It now help the channel none. And there's some people come on the channel, people, who are so negative. Like when I cut off the other day, what do I get my name? TikTok or Football Guru, the same person who comes under different names. Let me say something to you people. I appreciate the support I'm getting, even though I will admit my channel's not going fast enough and I get frustrated. I appreciate all your comments. And everybody love the positive one, but I appreciate the ones which may be contrary, which add value to me because I got to reassess, right? What I don't appreciate, you coming to my channel and you just negative from day one. You support the insupportable, the indefensible, you support it. I'll give you an example. Football Group come on my channel. He talks about Dennis Chung negatively, Simon negatively, marketing negatively, and then he supports the technical area with Rudolph Speed. And you're scratching your head thinking, you just feel like cussing. What are you talking about? Chung came in and changed the entire organization as well as to his portfolio. Simon has been doing a brilliant job in his role. The marketing area is showing what they're doing in terms of bringing in new people, young blood, new blood, helping. The board don't change. The president's still the same president. Technical area is atrocious. Are you supporting those areas? Be balancing your view. Yes, I can engage you. Now, if I sound a little bit angry when I talk, I'm a very emotive person and I'm very angst up. That's how I am. I ain't gonna change. But I do want to be reasonable. And I do want to speak with a sense of fairness and objectivity, but I'm not gonna support nonsense. Let's get back to the football. So let's go to who may be coming in. I can't mention no names, but let me say this, because you have to be very careful. If people give me the information in confidence, I can't go talk about it. We know Greenwood is out there to come in. We know Tyrese Campbell is going to come in. And I've said this before. We only have about 5 positions on the wing. Greenwood, Bailey, Gray, Cephas, Dixon, and now Tyrese Campbell. That's 6. I think they're only going to be 5 slots. Something has to give. One player, a deserving player, because I think all 6 are deserving. It ain't going to be Gray. It ain't going to be Bailey. It ain't going to be Greenwood. It ain't going to be Cephas. It's between Tyrese and Dixon. Here's the problem. Tyrese Campbell is a starter for Charlton, and he started 46 or 47 games this year, and he plays almost all the games. And he has goals and assists to his name. Dixon's in the other 21. Make the bench infrequently. If you're Charlton and Dixon start over Tyrese, you may be wondering what the hell is happening in Jamaica. You may not be happy. Because when I hear them talk about, what's his name, the kid that played midfield, the first name they said was Jamaica International, and he was coming off the bench. Can you imagine how Charlton people are saying this Jamaican environment is biased because they want to play local players over a player who's demonstrated that he's in the first team and Dixon's not in the first team? Dixon's a good player. Dixon may not get the best chance at Charlton for whatever reason. People may say, well, he's not. I hear somebody make an excuse. Well, there's a lot of excuses as to local players versus London-based players or London-born players. Tyrese Campbell is going to play for Jamaica. I think they care about that. They care about output and production. They want to win. So I like Dixon, but he may be challenged to be in the team given the competition he faces. And it's a good headache to have for the coach. Well, let's hope you make the right decision. In the forward line, Boza, Antonio, Giovanni Zamar is not in the mix anymore to me. Borrell, who else am I missing? I'm missing somebody who's coming in. Brown. There's a lot of players for maybe 3 positions. Now, is Antonio going to be fit? We don't know. Midfield, we're going to bring in. So let's think of the players coming in. Lewis Baker should be coming in. Maybe not for June. Possibly not. We don't know yet. But it's possible. We're going to be the next 2 windows. Either this window or next window. Lewis Baker, Greenwood, Tyrese Campbell. Those are the 3. There's about... I'm getting myself in trouble, 1, 2, 3 to 4 more players who are on the horizon. No, 4 more players. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 more players on the horizon, people. And 3 of those are Premier League experience. That's all I'll say on that. Right? So it's a lot of players. So and those of you talking about, oh, the leaders and the maverick of the world, oh, we need to have balance. We're not in our gymnastic. We're not on no balance beam. We want the balance in the team is the quality of the team and the quality of the players. That's the balance we want. I don't give a damn where you're from. Secondly, that whole concept of, oh, when are we going to set the team? And when are we going to have a fixed number? What are you talking about? Does Brazil have a fixed number? Does England have a fixed number? Does France have a fixed number? They bring in players who are in form. They bring in players who are playing better. Now, the difference with those teams is that they don't have a diaspora that they're choosing from where some players get naturalized and come in. But even those teams will naturalize players, like France did the last time for the center half. I'm sorry, like Spain did for the center half from France who played for Man City. I can't remember his name now. Right? Morocco have 7 or 8 players who born overseas who play for their work, bring them to the World Cup semifinal. What are you talking about? The coach got to pick team up until the time he has the final day, figure out who he has available, and pick those players. And then more quality coming in. We need quality. We need quality at right back. We need more quality in the midfield. We need more quality at left back. I think up front we're stacked, apart from maybe center forward to me. We're stacked on the wings. We have Gray, we have Bailey, we have possibly Greenwood. They're 3 Premier League players. One is an X. And then we have 2 more players like Cephas, Tyrese Campbell, Dixon. Tyrese Campbell now is going to be what? Championship? Dixon going to be championship? Cephas in 2nd Division Turkey. Cephas probably going to get a move. We're quality on the wing. Center forward is open. People are fighting for position. We need another 6. We need 2 right back. We need a left back. We need another 8. I don't care what you guys are going to say. I'm going to tell you what I think. We need a center forward. And I know there's another Tyrese Campbell from Sheffield people are thinking about. People talk about Sterling. There's a lot of people. A lot of people. Let's see how it works out. There's a lot of people. What else I have on my list before I jump more into comments? I have another item on my list. But more people coming in. More players are coming in. Like it or not, more players are coming in. And the coach has told us his perception and perspective on the local players. They're quick. They're fast. They're committed. They're motivated. They have vibes. He said it, not me. Need better teachings. He don't say technical, but he inferred it. He's even more technical. Need better players. Claudia, you and I can't. You know, Claudia, you like people who married. You and I are married. I don't get along, so that's why you divorced me. No, you're separated from me. You divorced me. You're separated from me. We can't agree. What is CC saying? CC says, Cranky, war not gonna stop because the people them love to beat anything that comes out of Jamaica. If he was diaspora, then he would be receiving this level of criticism. No, then CC, you're also falling to that narrative, CC. Nonsense you attack, CC. I'll call you out, CC. So here's how it works, people. Those who are local are biased to local, almost 100%. Those who are diasporan, some are biased to local in a negative way. Some are much more. If it was to grade the 2 areas, diasporans are more open than people in Jamaica. CC, who get more beaten than who will get? Who get no more beaten than Palmer? Huh? What are we talking about, CC? You listen to Jamaican? What's his name got beaten? Hutchinson. That's part of the reason why he left. When we talk about Whisper, man finished getting asked about Whisper. He got booed at National Stadium. What are we talking about, CC? Why are we so one-dimensional or thinking about who get booed and who don't get booed and who get criticized? You know why? Because the foreign players don't take it personal. The foreign players don't see a goddamn thing most times. Local players like Bailey can say the most negative things. I'm going to forgive them. If one foreign player ever says anything like that, I'm going to destroy them. It's not debatable. What Bailey says for some people, if they're foreign, they could never play for Jamaica again. Never. And he's welcome with open arms to the national team. I have no problem with the coach got to pick who's going to pick. But the people in Jamaica, see, like yourself, are biased when it comes to local players. And sometimes they're not as good as they should be to compete at the highest level. It's a fact. I think we see objectivity different from how I see it. The concept of objectivity to me is, you know what? It's objective if it fits my narrative. So CC, even though you and I get along well, CC, I'll call you out. Because me see you criticize overseas players all the time. Beat them badly. Or get off a comeback. Or get a go in. Palmer not good. And to be honest, Cephas, Palmer, Holgate, if you look at the sample size, may have as much as good games as they have bad games or average games. It's a fact. right? Palmer may have one good game as bad game. He played well in this tournament. The number of games he played, and say, you know what, Palmer needs to be on the bench. Or Palmer struggled to get in the team. There are a ton of people who are right down the middle about how they make decisions. Maverick, biased to local players. CC, biased to local players. I will call another person who comes on this channel all the time name, biased to local players. Right? There's some player. I talked to somebody in Jamaica who, when I talk to him, I have to smile sometimes because he's not supportive of local players and he's local. So I shouldn't say every local person. That's not true on my part. He's more biased against local players. If I say local players is good, he'd be like, whatever. And I'm saying, no, this local player's ability. So I should say it's on both sides of the camp, but I think more local persons are more supportive of local players than the diasporans are critical of local players, from what I've seen. And I've covered a lot of places. Cranky me, man, say such a player, say busy must take. So there are people who complain about busy taking the penalty. Let me say this. If you look at the resumes of the players who are available to take penalty, one would say, why didn't Madison take it? Since he scored 6 penalties this season at a higher level, right? And that Busy Atkins don't really take penalties. So why did Busy take the penalty? To me, it's poor coaching decision. That's nothing to do with Busy. Poor coaching decision. If I have a player who take penalty on a regular basis and used to the pressure and used to making decision up there, I'm going to put that player up there. So I'm not going to curse Busy. In fact, I said this on my channel, people. Last time I was here. Busy tried. Penalties are shootout. Penalties are hard. If you ever take penalty in your life, it's the most nervous thing ever. Because you know if you miss, when you turn around, everybody will look upon you. I think his teammates supported him. I'm not going to blame him. If this was a final of the Gold Cup, I'll probably be less happy. But I still wouldn't blame the player because I think penalties crapshoot. And you can't tell how it's going to work out. But I would say one thing on the penalty though. Here's my view on penalties. You can't kick the ball over the bar. Hayden penalty wasn't a good penalty. If the keeper died the right way, save Hayden penalty. My view on this, your penalty should, unless you're taking a polenta, you call it, right? So you go down the middle. Got to make sure you go at the right speed because sometimes you get caught. With the keeper not moving and just standing there, which is rare. Because nowadays keeper go to one side. They make a decision to go to one side. If the keeper dived right on Hayden penalty, he wouldn't have scored. But maybe Hayden looked him off and tried to deceive him where he put his penalty. But you can't kick the ball over the bar. That's my view on that, right? You can kick the ball on the post and it goes outside. You can't kick it over the bar. It has to hit the target some way, shape, or form. That's my view. And the player missed, so we move on. He missed, we move on. We move on. What other points are here? So Richard raised a great point, Richard. A great point. People, did you see the Brentford Stadium field, people? People, 17,000 stadium. Did you see the Brentford Stadium? I want to go lie on that field. Hey, people, you want to go lie on the field. And they were, you see them, they had a sprinkler system. They're watering the field. They water the field. They keep the field wet and moist, and you know the ball can roll it. People, you see that field, people? So the ball rolled on that field. There were no bouncing. You weren't trying to control the ball, anticipating a bad bounce. Those facilities, that infrastructure is an imperative for good football. But then again, you need leadership to help you achieve that. And leadership, to me, is not there. So who's Merrick? Cranky down incredible. I remember when you said about McGee. Merrick. I like McGee. Here's the thing, people. I've seen McGee play a lot. McGee against Costa Rica. 40-yard pass on Nicholson's head. McGee has ability. But he's inconsistent, and it does manifest itself, especially in better competition. So people, not because you like a player and the player don't play well, that means you are totally off and you don't have any credibility. Come on, people. Do better than that. Do better than that. Do better than that, people. Come on. Come on, Merrick. Come on, Merrick. You better than that, Merrick. You better than that. I've been on Cephas bandwagon and jump up and jump back on Merrick. So beat me for being a bandwagonist, but I have said Cephas on anything at one point, you know. Then Cephas making the same thing, and I'm like, come on, your decision making is awful. But he's learning because his crossing in these games was exceptional. Not the first game, but the second game. And even the first game, he made some good decisions. He's getting better. Takes time. before the game having some communication with somebody else. Yeah. She said, Osmo, when a Cephas come to the field and never been effective at Jamaica, he has been effective more than 80% of the time. No, that's not true. That's not true. I would say about 65% of the time. There are games Cephas played like against Dominica where you're just like, what the hell? Because Dominica players start running before he started running. I would say Cephas about 65% of the time. The thing I like about Cephas is this, is that I always like forwards who, you know what? We're going for a race. I like a forward who create disadvantage or advantage for himself, which is not normal. The speed is not normal. He can use both feet. And if he ever improves decision making, which is not out of his realm, then you'll see the good Cephas. And I've watched a lot of the goals that he scored. Not the games, but goals he scored. People, speed and normal. And he has some football ability. Give him his credit. I was going to say, CC's been effective every time. Yeah, CC's a little bit biased in that era. He's not effective every game. I think he's about 65% of the game. Who are you talking about, Rob Smith? Maybe you're talking about Burrell. Bless up Roger Scott. He said, are you guys aware of the fact that King provided the pass to Cephas in a proposition to make it happen? Just saying, no. Look, we haven't talked about the defenders that much and their passing. I think King had some good long passes to try to find Cephas, more than once, by the way. No, King is a good passer of the ball. But sometimes I think he went too long sometimes when he didn't have to. I don't think the triangles work as well as I'd like them to work. The King, Lambakisa, Russell, Dixon, those triangles, and Hayden, those 5 players on the right, or should be supporting the right, sometimes the combination don't work as well as they should. And even bring Burrell as a 6th person, got to have better combination, better triangles to get the ball at the field. Part of that was Shaquan Davis just kicking the darn ball away. And part of it also sometimes, not all the time, was King trying to go along when he doesn't have to go along. Right? It was so bad against Trinidad, I got frustrated with Shaquan, actually. And that's why Trinidad has so much possession. And Trinidad wasn't playing the long ball. They were trying to play the ball through the line. And they also got behind our midfield. If Trinidad was a better team in terms of in the final third, it'd be a different game. Because their midfield was getting behind our midfield. They looked ordinary against, but it's a different team anyway. So I shouldn't do a comparison between the Ghana game and Jamaica game because Trinidad made a lot of changes. But they were able to get behind our, individually get behind our midfield versus the pass beating the midfield sometimes. Cephas has a good weekend tournament. Now he's a world beater. Come on, bro. I don't know what you're talking about, Lux. I have said before that was Cephas at any 10 based on previous performance. This weekend, he redeemed himself. In the first game, he was getting beaten because he had some crosses to make, especially the first one where he tried to shoot and should have crossed it. We all agree with that. But he was involved in all 5 goals against one quality team and 1 decent team. And then he's performed well before that. The narrative and the perspective of Cephas won't change. Right? There's some people in Cephas' corner and always be in his corner. There's some people who are not in his corner and you can't convince them otherwise, no matter what the evidence says. And there's some who are on the fence who, you know, I'm more in Cephas' corner than not because I think there's potential there. You know, Gray don't run by people. Bailey don't run by people. I ain't seen Bailey play no game where he dominated like Cephas against a good team. When is game has Bailey played where he dominated against, for Jamaica, in a team like Cephas did against a very good Nigeria team? Please tell me. And some of you are Bailey apologists 24/7. 24/7 Bailey apologists. No matter what he does, because he plays for a big team, he's made a lot of money, he has a lot of pedigree, played in Germany. You guys are apologizing 24/7. But for Cephas, you're going to kill him because he don't play at the highest level. But for Jamaica, he's been better than Bailey. Let's do the comparison. Cephas has been better than Bailey for Jamaica than Bailey has been. To me, it's not debatable. But you guys will never see that because you're biased. Is Bailey a good footballer? Of course he's a good footballer. I see him play for Aston Villa. He wouldn't be playing for Germany and scoring against the Bayern Munich of the world. But his performance of Jamaica leaves a lot to be desired. Gray came, was a ball on fire. Gray has fallen off significantly. Forget the 2 goals against the US. Whether it's the competition he's playing with in Saudi Arabia, because when he was in the EPL, he played for Everton. At one point, he was starting regularly before Sam Dyche came in. Don't know. It's not been the same Gray. Bailey, maybe because of injuries. I'm going to call it like I see it. And I make no apology. Yes, Cephas had 4 assists and 1 pre-assist in two games. Says it all. It's about outcome. Jay says, Cranky, we're going to see the quota assist now rise. It was clear over 2 games that the players are not up standard. Only one which should be in the squad is King. I don't think that's fair to Busy Atkins, Jay, because he didn't get a good chance. In fact, I don't think it's fair to any of the JPL players because we didn't see them enough to judge them. Now, we know, based on what McLaren says, we know, based on what we have seen in the past, that a lot of JPL players need to either go overseas and improve their game. They're not going to improve in Jamaica, right? But to say some players are not good, we don't know because we have them been given an opportunity. Now we've seen them in that environment. Now you may be judge some Cavalier player based on how they played against Inter Miami or Cincinnati the year before, or some other player who played in the Caribbean Cup when they play against the team from Dominican Republic and all that. You can judge some of those players. I can only judge them with better competition. McLaren has said they're not good enough. No matter what he want to position it politically and use euphemism, he said they're not good enough. I need to see them play more and in competitive environment. I would love to have seen Busy play in this game and get 25, 30 minutes. It's a small sample size, but it gave me some perspective. Green came on the first game. Green didn't help himself. I got to mention that. Green didn't help himself. In fact, Green hurt himself badly. Because Jamaicans are very unforgiving when it comes to, even with a small sample size, people, they get killed. So Green didn't help himself. But King did well. Busy didn't do poorly, and Ming didn't do poorly. Ming got a whole half, but it's tough playing right back against quality forwards like Simon from Nigeria. It's difficult. That's why Lambakisa struggled. And people make an excuse for Lambakisa. Don't make excuses. Lambakisa is a good kid, very young, a lot of potential, tough tournament. Right? Why Bailey the Mario? People, we don't understand that. First of all, I'm glad they didn't play those players. Or the players didn't come to the tournament because we need to see other players, right? I was hoping Tyrese Keppel would make it, but it's hard for Tyrese because he just finished playing in League One final, so not surprised he didn't make it. Or the people like Latin, all of them. But I am glad the players who went. I'm not sure why I bought some of JPL players and gave them no game time. Some 0 game time. Green got some time. Ming got some time. King obviously played all about games. Busy got some time. And I'm sure the experience was good for the players, like the coach is saying. I'm sure it is. But I think we have to be fair in how we're assessing these things. The players have to get exposure, but it can be at the expense of the national team in tournaments and the performance. If you want to do friendly and get players, I have no problem. The women play in the US, tomorrow? Try out the players. And that game is going to be interesting, right? But when we go to Gold Cup and we go to World Cup qualifiers, you got to play your best team and with the best players. And I hope we do so and not get affected by this concept of we have to boss our youth. Let me keep going. Let me check here. Gina Lopez says, Cranky, there's no reason for you to. Okay, what Cephas did. The proof is in the pudding. Yeah, that's true. That's true. He's a speedster. Well, in football, speedsters are an imperative to me. So people, let me just ask a question, people. So Claudia beat me, so we're biased. People, I want to hear, okay. I'm going to put this up, people. I'm going to ask a question. You think I'm biased when it comes to football players? Yes or no? I just want a yes or no. I don't want any elaborate comment, just yes or no. For those in the chat who have followed my channel quite a bit, when it comes to football players in general, do you think I'm biased to players? Any player, frankly. Let me hear that. Any player. Is Cranky biased to players? McLaren says, is Cranky biased to players, local or overseas? Let me know, diaspora. So long way to go in football, do those crosses were highest quality, better than what from years and those crosses were exceptional, people. The 2 crosses against Nigeria, exceptional crosses. If Premier League players do those crosses, we give them a lot of kudos. You know what I said? Premier League players, Brazil, England, give them a lot of kudos. Those crosses are exceptional. And one of the crosses, the second one, he got it ball what? About in his own half or just over the half line, somewhere around there. Exceptional crosses. So let me go down here. Yes or no? Is Cranky biased when it comes to players? I want to see that, people. Yes or no? Am I biased? I want to see that. People have been on my channel for a while. Whitmore was well respected in CONCACAF. He played a lot of games in England. He didn't play at a high level. Whitmore didn't play at a high level. Did Whitmore play in the Premier League or Division 1 in England? No, he didn't. Whether he's respected or not, we're talking about he played at the highest level. Antonio played at the highest level. Bobby Reed played at the highest level. Pinnock played at the highest level. Shelton played at the highest level. What's his name? Bibi played at the highest level. Fuller played at the highest level. Hello? Because a player can beat a man here and do some things. He didn't play at the highest level. And by the way, Fuller, Bibi, Shelton, all locally produced players. So people are saying, so who said yes? So Big Deal say I'm yes. So Big Deal say I'm biased. So Big Deal, which players I'm biased to? Overseas or local? Paper Play says no. Be Nice says maybe. Omar says no. Peter Mystic say I'm objective. People, I actually look. That's why we'll never have a consensus on some of these things. I just want to win. I'm a selfish fan. I just want to win. Oh, you think I'm biased to Cephas? People, go watch my channel. Well, now watch my channel enough. I beat Cephas as much as I praise him. I beat Holgate as much as I praise him. I beat Palmer as much as I praise him. It's about facts and circumstances. You play well, you get flowers. You don't play well, you get flowers. And then there's an overall assessment about your potential and where I see you in the team. Can't help it. I know how to play. Because you play in England doesn't mean you play at the highest level. You didn't play Division 1 in England. I just named you 6 players who play in the EPL who play for Jamaica. I didn't mention about Robbie. I didn't mention Marcus Gale. I didn't mention Burton. I didn't mention any of those players. I just mentioned 6 players, 3 Jamaican, 3 overseas who played Premier League. Whitmore didn't play at the highest level. It's a fact. I like Whitmore. Go watch him play in Florida, put him ball through man's leg, get jaw busted. Watch him play in Washington, D.C. when he played U.S. I watched him. Still didn't play at the highest level, people. Good footballer, like him, didn't play at the highest level. Not debatable. No, my Cephas stock is you know, in stocks, Mr. Man, it's long-term and short-term. If you hold the stock long-term, your taxes are less. If you sell short-term, you pay more taxes, but your tax rate. Right now, I'm in this whole pattern with Cephas, which is he's in the good graces. It's Cephas is part of the starting 5. By the way, people, the coach to me loves Cephas. And you guys, you know what I'm saying? Before he came, he was wondering why Cephas is on the bench. People, before him joined the club, before him joined the team, he was asking that question. And the other day he played Cephas all the minutes of the game. He put him at center forward instead of taking him off the field. Coach loves Cephas. Oh, I forgot. I didn't get see much of Madasil. I miss Madasil as a player. I think. No, I didn't mention Madasil. Didn't get enough time. I want to see more of him. But Bailey has better numbers and better game for Jamaica, but you put Cephas above already. Because Bailey has played much more games than Cephas and get much more time. Max, use minutes versus using the number of goals and enough time. And take out the penalties that Bailey has scored, because Cephas don't take his own penalties. When we do comparisons, people, do like-for-like comparisons. The comparative cannot be something which don't apples and oranges. Like-for-like comparisons. Opponents, minutes played, production, all these things are factors in your assessment. Don't just say he played 30-something games and he has 6 goals. Were there any penalties in the goal? What opponents did he play at? Or did they affect the game? Come on, people. Did he play any quality opponents like Nigeria? When Bailey played the US, do you see him on the field when he played the US? Or is he falling down when he's in the box? People say I'm biased against Bailey. If Bailey scores and play well, I'm going to give him his credit. If he doesn't play well, I'm going to call him out like any other player. I don't care where you play or how you play. I call out Antonio. Claudine beat me about Antonio. I have said, you know what? I'll probably try Dixon instead of Ford versus Antonio sometime. And Claudine lost her mind. But it's my perspective. I don't care what your pedigree is. I'm going to call it like I see it. I don't think I have any bias, and I try not to. I agree with that. Yeah, we match is important. We match. All these factors, opponents matter, right? Minutes matter. Your teammates matter. They all matter. Now, Cephas was awful against Dominica. And against Dominica, what happened was they scouted him well, and they said, you know what? He's a one-trick pony going down the wing. Start running before he push the ball. And Cephas does not that. I say Cephas doesn't set his defender up. You have to set up your defender. You have to go right and go left. Get him off balance. He doesn't get him off balance. But his crosses this weekend and his play overall was good. And he was involved in all 5 goals. And we all walk away this weekend saying, we walk away this weekend saying, people, why? If we can play this well against Nigeria, you know what? Our World Cup prospects are in a better place. If we can play against Nigeria team, who most of their players play overseas, by the way, most of them, the Ndidis of the world, the Chewokes of the world, the Simons of the world, they play overseas at quality. And they had about 3 or 4 players they're trying to bring in from the diaspora in their team. They didn't have no Iwobi. Yeah, they had no Lookman. Yeah, they had no Usman. But they're struggling in World Cup qualifiers too. But we didn't have any Pinnock. We didn't have any Blake. Right? We didn't have any Bailey. We didn't have any Gray. Both teams were not total full strength. Got to do a like-for-like comparison. Any calling? I don't have my calling phone. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I don't. Oh, you know what? Wait. Sorry, people. I don't know where my calling phone is. I think I left it. People, give me a second. So before the game, when I call in, let me put you on mute. Sorry, people. Let me try to find my calling phone. I apologize. Let me take you off mute. Give me a second, people. I need to stop my camera. On mute. 1 second, people. 1 second. So get on my calling phone. All right, I think I found it. Hey, before the game, let me see if I have any battery on my phone before I do so. Give me 1 second. And it's not, yeah, I can probably take a call, people, with my phone charge up. How much time I got left? I got 15 minutes left. I got to run. But first of all, let me say this again. I truly appreciate each of you who are part of the channel. People, if you have not hit the like button, please do so. If you have not shared the channel, please do so. And just as more important, if you have not subscribed, please do so. Let me say something to people. To Football Guru, who I know is on the channel, because he always is, even though he hates me. Oh Lord, press the joke it up. Press out, wait, give me a second, press out, call it. Hey, press out, the playing up, press out, front run. Let me say this. Hey, Football Guru, I don't hate you, Football Guru, but you have to do better. 1 second, press out. Football Guru. Andre, you missed your chance. Go ahead, go ahead. Football Guru. If you can't come on my channel and behave yourself, I gotta ban you. Go ahead, Pressa. Andre, before the game, I gotta call you back. Go ahead, Pressa. You're biased to Mr. Ricketts, and Damien. Oh, yeah, I am biased to Ricketts. I'm not biased to Damien. I'm biased to Ricketts. I will admit that. You know what, people? Pressa called me out rightly. No, that's not Pressa. You gotta balance that. I'm biased to Ricketts in that I just think he's a lovely person. And I like people who are just very good human beings. But I've called out his leadership or lack thereof a lot of times. And I'm the one looking for media pass, and I'm the one looking to get access to JFF material. I'm running risk by doing that. But nobody can buy me. So me call out, me see it. No call out, me see it. That's a mistake. If me can't get access, then you can't give me access. But me never sit here and be a hypocrite and I call you up. I like Mr. Ricketts. I met him. Presser, if you meet somebody and the man's so nice to me. No, I call him out. There's like a leadership in the JFF. What do you mean? He's a leader. I think I hear more people. That's true. That is true. But you know what? All of we are hypocrite, but there's degrees of hypocrisy. It's true. Go ahead. Cephas is a very, frustrating figure. I think Cephas from your reminds me of like players like Martinelli and like Garnacho at United, right? Not to say that he's anywhere close to that level, right? Yeah. But at times
are positive in terms of like production, whether it's an assist or a goal. Obviously, those players they would have scored more goals than like Renaldo Cephas, right? Cephas doesn't really have the finish.
Wait, I'm saying I can't hear. Wait, hold up. Why is that? Hold up. Try to talk louder, Presser. Hold up, 1 second.
Yeah, Cephas doesn't really have the
Wait,
finish.
1 second. Can you guys hear, Presser? If not, I'll have to connect. If I can't hear. Hold up. I have to wait, people. 1 second, Presser. Let me do this, Presser. Let me take it off Bluetooth and do it manual. Hold up. Because I think yesterday when I did it manual, it worked. So let me set this up manual, Presser. 1 second, and then maybe they can hear you better. All right, Presser. Can you hear me, Presser?
Yeah, I think they probably can hear now.
Can you guys hear now? Let me know.
I think so.
All right, go on, Presser.
Yeah, so I'm saying in terms of Cephas, right? You reminds me like the Martinellis of the world and the Garnacho, right? Not to say that he's close to the levels or quality of those players. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But with those two individual players, they can be frustrating figures in terms of like they have the speed, they can get in behind the defense. But when it comes on to the final decision making, right?
Yeah.
Oftentimes they make the wrong decision in what should be the most dangerous areas of the pitch, which is in behind. They go to the byline. It's supposed to be crossing the ball across the face of goal, but sometimes they oftentimes try to take a shot or they try to do some madness, right? And I don't want to really debate whether or not Cephas is a starter in the team, right? I think in some games he's a starter, but I think Cephas is a player that is a weapon off the bench. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a weapon in the sense that I remember Dan James when he was at United, right? Played a couple of few games. In some games he was effective. And I think one thing with Dan James that was infuriating him when he was at United, we didn't really have any strikers that could occupy that eating, that could anticipate crosses coming across the face of goal. You know, that cross that Cephas.
Voltage, turn up your phone. If it's low, I'm my one. Turn up your phone.
Yeah, so can you hear me now?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so you remember the cross that he gave to Kyle Dixon, right?
Yeah.
Kyle Dixon kind of basically, got in front of the defender, latched onto the ball at the end and put it in the back of the net. And, Dan James never really have that type of player at United that would get on the end of crosses. Erling Haaland gets on the end of crosses once he comes across the face of goal. Aguero, when he was at City, would normally get on the end of crosses. And I think Cephas is that type of player where, with his speed in behind, we need a striker that can get on the end of those crosses. Because I think at one moment, I think it was either the Trinidad game or Nigeria game, a cross came across from Cephas, and I think Borla, one of those guys, was just a bit behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So those type of crosses are very dangerous. So for me, even though he's a frustrating figure at times in terms of, his IQ and his intelligence, he's still a weapon that we can utilize. And I think, you mentioned something about Cephas kind of slowing down the game. I remember the Champions League game with Inter Milan and, PSG. That assist that Ousmane Dembele gave to Doué, right? He got the ball, running down the line. He kind of slowed down the game, cut it back a little bit, and then found the pass to Doué, like over the top across the face at the goal, right? Doué took it down, took a shot, took a deflection. I think sometimes Cephas' problem is he's a bit too direct. You know what I'm saying? And some defenders kind of like that because they can just force you out wide a bit more, in a sense, because they just have to kind of just body off the ball or something like that, or just don't show you the inside. Where Cephas needs that intelligence. Where listen, I'm going to get past you. I'm not going to come inside. I don't have to come inside, but I can turn it back quickly. I can just slow it down, wait for other runners to get in the pocket, and then find a cross or look for overlapping run or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that's just coaching in a sense and him wanting to improve as a player. But the mere fact that he improved in the second game, I think there's hope for him in terms of I think there's a bit more improvement that there is for Cephas in a sense. So I think he's a positive for the team.
I think we lost. Oh, okay, he's back. Sorry, we lost you for a bit. I don't know what happened.
Yes, I think he's a positive for the team going forward. In terms of, I see JD made a point in terms of Bailey. I think that point that JD made, that's going to leave many people divided.
Which point? Which point is it, Bailey?
About the Leon Bailey being more effective than Cephas.
Okay.
As a fan, I'm not going to remember every game that Leon Bailey played, right? But in terms of the more recent games I can remember, I would think that Cephas has been a bit more effective in a sense in terms of having a positive outcome for the national team compared to Bailey. So But it's a very hard point for him to make, which I'm not like criticizing him for. It's just that I think the fan base will like obviously be divided on that. You know, I think some fans, because they don't like him in general, they're just gonna agree. Some will, make a proper assessment and maybe say, you know what, they also don't agree. You will have some that say, they think Bailey is more effective than Cephas. But, it is what it is still. But at least we have a weapon now, and there's a sign of improvement from the player in a sense, and he has a bit more to do. These 2 World Cup qualifying games, hopefully we can see a bit more positive from Cephas in that sense, like improving upon this Unity Cup performance, winning the World Cup qualifiers, and then going into the World Cup. And I think one main criticism, well, not a criticism, I think one main thing that kind of hampered Jamaica in recent times, a lot of the 4 players, they're not on form, you know what I'm saying?
Are they not getting regular game time in some of them? Like a Bobby Reed don't get regular time. Antonio not playing football. Yeah. Bailey being on the bench. Yep.
Yeah, so for a lot of these players, like, Russell had a good season, we could consider or say that he's on form. Case Farman, we have a bad Unity Cup. So a lot of these players, like, at least they're on some form of a form in a sense, heading into the qualifiers and then to head into the World Cup. So we just have to hope and pray that they can continue this performance in the World Cup qualifiers and with the additional guys that are going to come more regulars in the team, like the Bailey and Lemar, etc., etc.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. Bless up. Thanks for what you do.
Yeah, bless up.
And Eagle Republic, you see me I try to build Eagle Republic. You want me to ask some controversial question, Eagle Republic. So we not go back, Eagle Republic, we can go forward. Me understand what you say, but we don't go back, we go forward. So Andre, see if we can call back. Andre. Where Andre call me. And we can't find the number. Andre, see if you can call back. Okay. Bless up. Hello?
Bless up, Cranky. What's going on?
Before the game, how you doing? Or is it after the game or during the game?
I'm doing extremely well. Monday morning, Monday afternoon.
Yeah, so I have 5 to 7 more minutes before I click out. And you have the floor as the last caller.
So I'm calling you because I think that somebody needs to hold you accountable.
Here we go. Man, beat me. My coffee beat me.
But before I beat you, right? But before you go to that, it's I think I'm not so sure. It makes me uncomfortable when I hear people talk about Cephas and his game intelligence and his game IQ and that kind of stuff. I think that look, nobody knows if you're working with a player. If you're working with a player and he makes a decision that you don't think is the right decision, I think the first thing that you'd attempt to do is find out what the player sees in that moment. Okay? So you would know if he's seeing the right thing or if you agree with what he sees or what he attempted. None of us know. In those moments that people use to say that Cephas' footballing IQ is in the dustbin, nobody knows what he's seeing in those moments. And there are times too where players are not on the same page, right? Cephas have had what he scored. He was involved in 13 goals in 27 games at the club level. Is that correct?
I don't know what the numbers are, but you know more than I do, yeah.
I think he scored 8 goals and had 5 assists, right, at the club level. That's 13 goals in 27 games. It can't be that bad. He really can't. It can't be that bad and come on a weekend like this against a team like Nigeria and perform the way in which he performed. Right? So I think that's a narrative that, at the risk of people wanting to fight me, I think that's a narrative that needs to be shut down. I think Cephas is 25 years old. He's not in his prime. He has not been given the same opportunities of others in the Jamaican national team. And he showed this weekend that he could perform, and I think people need to support the kid. I think people need to, because nobody knows what he's seen in that moment. And there are times where players see something, and the person that they're attempting to pass to is, we don't know what's going on, and we are beating him, I think, extensively. And once we are attacking his IQ.
So let me say something before the game. Let me say something before. We can't be hypocrites. I can't attack Martinelli's IQ, because he played in the EPL and don't attack Cephas IQ, when I think it's the same thing we're talking about. What we see is what we comment on. So I'm gonna give you an example. And that's why I didn't beat McLaren for going in the stands. And people beat McLaren for going in the stands because you want to see the entire field. And at ground level, the pass may not be obvious, which is what Cephas is experiencing, but you have to have the perceptiveness to see what's there, right? So if I see a cross, if I see Dixon run in the middle by himself or Burrell running, and Cephas has the ball and should cross it one time, but he make an extra touch, I'm going to say he didn't have the perceptiveness to see the pass, to make the pass, because he's not thinking football the way he should. Or he's not making a decision, he's being selfish. There's a number of reasons why it could be, right? I can't be a hypocrite and then say, you know what, Martinelli does the same thing, but I give Cephas a blind, but don't give Martinelli a blind. Because in my view as a football fan and an analyst, I want to see you make the right play based on what I see that was to me obvious. Sometimes it's not that obvious, and when you're on the field, as you know, because you used to play football. Sometimes it's not that obvious. You see something different, but you have to get to the point where it becomes obvious, even though it may not be obvious, because you're a footballer. And that's why I don't beat McLaren for going in the stands, people, because I know he wants to see the game at a certain level. So he's informed his view about his players and who's doing the right thing in the right situation. And at ground level, you can't see that. And people are beating him for that. I'm laughing, thinking, I don't think you understand what the man's trying to do.
So, Jason, I know you know better than that. That's not what we expect from you. But you know what I'm saying, Cranky. And I'm gonna
Guna, Guna go come with this girl. Beat him, Guna. Beat him, Guna. Beat him. Guna. Hey, Guna, beat him. We get beaten in this. Guna. You know when we in the sea we get beaten. Beat him, Guna. Beat him. Go ahead before the game. Beat him, Guna.
But we don't see what the player see. We don't know what the player sees, and that's a reality. And maybe he doesn't understand that idea. But you need to understand it. And I did preface it by saying if someone is coaching a player, right, they would want to understand what the players saw in the moment, right? Because the picture keeps changing. And I don't understand if he doesn't understand that. But you used the word hypocrisy just now. And while your argument that everyone has different levels of hypocrisy is a logical argument, I'm saying to you that a lot of times it avoid dealing with the issue. And right when you make that statement.
No. Let me say this. So sometimes wait a minute. No, hold up. Call her. Okay, go ahead, call her, because I'm gonna come back at you with that. Go ahead.
All right, let me finish. You said earlier on that when you ask people to say whether you're objective or not,
right?
You said you think you are objective, right?
Yeah.
But and I'm just using what you told us, right? You said us that you are elitist. You only watch.
Yeah, I need this. I agree. Yeah, that's true.
EPL, Champions League, Jamaica Reggae Boyz. But so you don't watch the GPL, you don't watch the other levels.
Wait. Football Guru is being objective? What's happening? What the hell? Hey, Football Guru. That's somebody, Football Guru changed his name and changing his perspective. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So my argument is that it's going to be very difficult to be objective, right? And you probably could make a good argument for being a little bit biased. I don't know how much to watch the players that play overseas because you're not watching the others that play at a level.
That's a fair point, but it's not me alone who's drawing the conclusion I'm drawing. It's also the coach who's watched them, and it's also the under-20 coach John Wall. It's Hargrimson. It is McLaren.
We are not speaking about these guys. We're speaking about.
No, we're talking about. I'm making the analogy that what I'm seeing is what they're seeing.
Yeah, but you don't know if they are watching, right? I'm going off of what you told us.
Yeah, no. Let me say this. I have watched some games because I watched Tyrese Campbell. No, I've watched some games, but I'm elitist. I admit that. But I've watched games in the championship, and I've watched a couple of JPL games. I do have to turn up JPL games. Let me talk low sometimes. But I watched. People, I have 2 more minutes left, Andre. Anything you want to say before the game? Before you go, I got 2 more minutes. I gotta go. I have been beckoned and beaten, and I don't want to get beaten because in my household I have to respond to people here. I don't run my house. Sometimes I run around my house. What do you
But just put in a little comfortable there. But you all need to give Cephas a chance. Cephas could be a bright spot. Cephas, what would have been the outcome without Cephas' input? Over the weekend, his input was
exceptional.
Was decided, yeah,
exceptional.
Yeah, and,
exceptional.
And so that means that there's something there at that level, and hopefully they can bring it out of him more consistently.
Yeah.
Right, and you can't be on the fence. It's either you support him or you don't. I heard this earlier on. You're on the fence.
No. No. Don't misconstrue. I support Cephas. I just said Cephas and any six. What are you talking about? I just named 5 players and any 6, including Cephas. There's no fence there.
You said that a few months ago when you jumped ship.
Yeah. Because he pissed me off. Fine. I just said Cephas and any 6 people. Cephas, Hayden, Blake, Pinnock, and Greenwood and any 6. That's what I just said. Not taking it back for the time being.
Okay.
For the time being. Anyway,
one
more minute. I gotta go.
All right, take care, man.
All right, thanks. All right, people. First of all, people, I appreciate the support. Thanks for being here. It's been great having the conversation. Hey, football guru, the day you start coming here and behave yourself, I don't have a problem engaging with you. You think the host is too emotional? That ain't gonna change. I'm emotional. I'm like Cephas. I have certain attributes which ain't gonna change. I'm an emotive person, but I don't mind having intelligent dialogue and fair dialogue, and you being opposing certain things and I being on the other side. I have a problem. But something you're extremely disrespectful, and 90% of the time you're very, very negative. We can't live that way. We can't be that way. I'm supportive of an inclusive environment. We support each other. We help each other. We should not always agree. Then why come here? Why have an engagement? If we're all going to say what the host believe or just be anti-host, that's nonsense. We are here to express our view, give our perspective, and to listen and to learn. I have learned a ton being on these forums. No, I'm not sure how long I keep saying this. I'm going to be here, but I've learned a ton, and hopefully I've imparted some little bit of knowledge. Cranky jump ship. Yeah, me jump ship on Maggie. Me jump ship. I haven't jumped ship on King, by the way. I haven't jumped ship on King. I haven't jumped ship on Dixon. I may put them on pause. I haven't jumped ship on Cephas. I just put him on pause. The jump ship is where I say Cephas and any 10. Now I put Cephas back in the mix, but now I'm back to Cephas and any 6, including the 4 I mentioned. And if he has 3 or 4 bad games in a row, like any other person who's unbiased, I may say Cephas needs to go sit down. That's how you should assess people. You can't say this player should play 24% at a time when they're having a bad run of games. No. But Cephas a bit. Let me tell you something, people. Here's my final prediction. Cephas going to end up playing the championship and will eventually, at some day, may end up in the Premier League. I can't beat me for anything there, but I prognosticate the future, and most times I am right. This tournament was a good tournament for a lot of players, including Bell, who has no team, including Cephas, who plays the second league in Turkey to get seen more internationally, including King, who needs to be seen more, right? It was a good tournament for some players. The ones who may not have teams or on the fringe or on the outskirt, it's a good sport for them. So I believe Cephas has been seen. When you play against Nigeria and you play against Trinidad to a lesser extent, and you show up, even though you didn't touch the ball a ton, as much as I'd like you to touch it, and you have end product in terms of assists and contribution to the goal, coaches and teams love that. Because the hardest thing to do in football is to score goals. If you can create goals or score goals, you get more looking than others if you're playing forward, right? We need to improve the midfield. We need to improve the right back situation. We need to improve center forward. That's my last point. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you being here. Please hit the like button before you leave. Please share. And just as important, people, please subscribe. Thanks. Have a wonderful day. Peace out. Frankie Life is the best to be now. For the best sports talk and it's free, yo. Frankie Life will be your guiding light by keeping you informed both day and night. Frankie Life. Tell them, Frankie Life. Heed them, Frankie Life. Want them, Frankie Life. From the courts to the field, we'll never lose because Cranky has the hottest news. With expert analysis, we break it down. Our in-depth coverage is best in town. Cranky Life. Tell them, Cranky Life. Heed them, Cranky Life. want them. Cranky live. Cranky live where the sports is spicy and where we keep the discussion lively. Cranky live. Get to know the name because cranky analysis is never lame. Cranky live. Give me my cranky life. I want my cranky life. Must have my cranky life. Whether it's football or track and field, you know cranky is at the wheel. So join the journey through victory and defeat and subscribe and don't miss a beat of cranky life. Kill them, cranky life. Heed them, cranky life. Want them, cranky life. If you're from England or USA, from Kingston or Bombay, from Kenya or Canada, Lagos or Havana, visit Cranky Live. Tune into Cranky Live. Like up Cranky Live. Subscribe to Cranky Live. Cranky Live coming to you on weekdays. Cranky Live sometimes on Sundays. Pull up a chair and take a seat because Cranky will always bring the heat. Cranky Live. Me say fi tell them Cranky Live. Me say fi heed them Cranky Live. On them Cranky Live. Cranky Live will be around. Cranky Live is the best in town. Me say fi heed them. Me say fi want them. Me say fi heed them. Want them, heed them, want them. Cranky Live. Cranky Live. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Cranky Live. Cranky Live. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Cranky Live. Cranky Live. Cranky. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Heed, want, heed them.